Chairman. May I say that Mr. Wells talks about this being cruel and reckless. He was just baiting. He has been baiting Mr. Cohn here for hours, requesting that Mr. Cohn, before sundown, get out of any department of the government anyone who is serving the communist cause. Now, I just give this man's record, and I want to say, Mr. Welch, that it has been labeled long before he became a member, as early as 1944.
We not drop this. We know he belongs to Lawyers Guild. And Mr. Cole nods his head at me. I did you, I think, no personal injury, Mr. Cole.
No.
I meant to do you no personal injury. And if I did, I beg your pardon. Let us not assassinate this lad further, Senator. You've done enough. Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, have you left no sense of decency?
I know this hurts you, Mr. Welch.
I'll say it
May I
hurts.
say, Mr. Chairman, as a point of personal purpose, I'd like to finish this.
Senator, I think it hurts you too, sir.
I'd like to finish this. I know Mr. Cohn would rather not have me go into this. I intend to, however, and Mr. Welch talks about any sense of decency. It seems that Mr. Welch is pained so deeply, he thinks it's improper for me to give the record, the Communist Front record, of the man whom he wanted to foist upon this committee. But it doesn't pain him at all. There's no pain in his chest about the attempt to destroy the reputation and take the jobs away from the young men who are working in my committee. And Mr. Welch, if I have said anything here which is untrue, then tell me. I have heard you and everyone else talk so much about laying the truth upon the table that when I heard it was completely phony, Mr. Welch, I have listened to you now for a long time, to saying now before sundown, you must get these people out of government. So I just want to have it very clear that you were not so serious about that when you tried to recommend this man for this committee. But the point is, Mr. Chair, I'd like to say again that he does not believe Mr. Welch recommended sufficient counsel for this committee. And he had, through his office, all the recommendations which were made and does not recall any of them coming to act as your assistant. Mr. McCarthy, I will not discuss this further with you. You have sat within 6 feet of me and could have asked me about Fred Fisher. You have seen fit to bring it out. And if there is a God in heaven, it will do neither you nor your cause any good. I will not discuss it further. I will not ask Mr. Cohn anymore.
Hello?
Let's go.
Oh, you're so impatient. All right, you're live. You have an audience.
All right, everybody. KYT calmed me down. She says, relax. We're going to win. Just hang in there. And, you know, I'm taking her advice. You know, we have them trapped. Everything you see that's going on shows that they're in danger. These guys are being exposed. And there's a lot of money at stake here, and you know they're doing everything in their power to block us. But it's not gonna work. It's too obvious. They can't do it. You know, the whole thing will unwind, and no matter what happens with this cat system, Devin Nunes and Donald Trump are not stopping. That's what I'm hearing, and we're just waiting for the Senate hearing or the congressional hearing, or whatever you call it, to come down. You can see the volume is all dried up in both these names. Trump's been trading 10 million shares a day. It's 1.5 million. There's no selling in his stock. Right? Investors don't need to buy his stock. The shorts need to cover. Same thing in Finger. The only difference between Finger and DJT is that, that stock is $48. There's a lot of up, down, sideways. There's a lot of activity. Finger Motion's downside is what, William?
Up.
You got it. It's very different. So
As long as you wait, as long as you're willing to wait, as long as you're
Our
willing to wait.
opinion is that the downside in Finger is up. It has a $5 target if the SEC is listening by benchmark. We're using benchmark as our benchmark, and they're saying the $5 target in the stock. Why would we talk about it? Because it's true. It's right there, black and white, and that was a while ago, and they wanted to upgrade it as things got better, but they haven't put another report out yet. Who knows what they're going to do? But again, the downside in Finger is up. DJT, I couldn't tell you if they don't do this cat and Trump doesn't do his thing. The stock has a lot of downside. If Trump does his thing, which I believe is going to happen in Nunez, the stock has tremendous upside. So you could pick your own poison. If it's GameStop or whatever stock you're playing, good luck, best of luck. I look for the things with the least amount of risk and the things that have fundamental business plans right now that don't need capital. All right. So again, now let me just tell you about Finger Motion for a second. A shareholder that I know, very smart, the smartest guy I know is a broker, William. You're number 2. Let's say that. He worked at Kidder Peabody.
All I know is I'm broker than I used to be.
Oh, that's a different story. But he used to work at Kidder Peabody. And he told me years ago the system is broken and he's going to step down. He was a top guy at Kidder Peabody.
I remember Kidder, one of the best firms on the street.
One of the best firms on the street. My friend, this gentleman, we used to call him Peanut Butter, was the smartest guy that I knew in the industry. He wasn't a trader. He was just a smart type analyst guy. He did his homework. Smart guy, smart clients, real clients. He says that he's going all in on Finger Motions. He believes, and that's the message that I got. So I feel better 100 times. I felt great before, and I really feel great because I'm not even talking to him, and he popped his head out, and that's the message that I got back, that he's going all in. So I'm even more confident now on Finger Motion. This is independent from me, nothing to do with me. And the second thing that I'm hearing, William, which we're hearing straight from people in Asia, there's a $1 revenue deal coming out in Finger Motion soon. I don't know what it is, but it's coming from overseas. All right. So again, let's see if it's true. Maybe somebody in China heard it. I have no idea what it is, but there's a major deal coming, fundamental deal on the way. We've been hearing rumblings of it. Now I'm hearing that it's a $100 million deal. When is it coming? I don't know. Is it true? Is it false? I have no idea, but it's coming out of Asia. So that I know. And that's it. We're sitting here, 225 million shares naked shorted, 2.2 million real shorts that need to be covered back. And give me 1 second, William. Relax, William. Relax.
Relax, everyone.
Hold on. Go to shortsqueeze.com.
Relax.
I just want to I want to see the data when the update is coming. It's 2.15, let's say 2.2 million. Let's see the next update on the real short. Well, he's not covering today. Today is what? May 24th is what is today, William?
May 7th, I think.
It comes out the 9th. I knew something was coming up. May 9th, everyone, mark it down. Shortsqueeze.com. Pay attention in case I drop dead. Shortsqueeze.com. It's 2.15 million. Are they covering? It doesn't look it to me. When people cover, stocks go up. That guy's got to cover 2.15 million. Is it going up or is it going down? All right, let's see what that holds for us. Remember, this is the real short. Anyone who's lending their shares out, call your broker. Make sure they're not lending out your shares. We said it 1,000 times. Help yourself. If you really want to help yourself, call the SEC. Call that financial committee that's doing the hearing on the CAT system. An attorney that I know very well told me, pay attention to, what's that guy's name from Texas? What the hell's his name?
Pete Sessions.
They think he's stepping out and he doesn't like Trump. And he's the type of guy that Ken Griffin could probably pay off. See where these guys go if they do vote it down. Pay attention to where they go in their afterlife. These guys are probably looking for a payday. All right, so if they do turn it down, follow the bouncing ball. We can see where they pop up. If they're working at a brokerage firm, a law firm, you know what they were doing then. All right, it's pretty easy. You can see who the turncoat is in the organization. Who doesn't want to protect the investors? All right, pay attention to that. So I think we got great stuff there. On that GTII, I haven't heard boo. Hopefully the shit hits the fan soon and this guy gets kicked out and we get people in there and get some businesses going in there and we turn that ship around. All right, the guy has to add fundamental value. Just can't be doing nothing forever. All right, DJT, we're waiting for the hearing. And that's about it, William. I'm not going to yell today. I'm not going to curse.
You can yell. Look, it's been a long battle, and of anyone out there, you've maintained your dignity and your hard work.
That's not true.
I
mean, my curse.
Well, you know, I mean, the only thing I wish you didn't do so much is take the Lord's name in vain, but otherwise, cursing's part of the desk, and it's Wall Street. You know,
I'm not saying Jesus. I'm saying Jesus.
Not you say GD a lot, and the older I get, that just hits my ear like a brick.
Sorry, I'm just going.
But otherwise, anyway, I'm not complaining. Look, you work hard. It's stressful. What people don't realize is what's against us is an organized strategy to destroy companies, and then there's so-called good guys out there. They're just bashers. They're taught not to lie. They're taught to befriend us, us, and then they just come on and on like a Mack truck, and no one stops it. I don't blame you for losing your cool once in a while.
This is a good one, William. K&W has a $12 million toxic note with Lynn Partners.
Is it up?
One share for sale. Finger Motion has nothing to do with them, nothing with anybody. Business growing, blah, blah, blah. And it's always got 600 shares for sale. 200, 300, 600, 200, 600, all day long. Isn't it strange how no one naked shorts K&W, how the Kramers or anybody or Yorkville go and kill K&W. It's a toxic death spiral note. It's right there. No one kills it. They all stay in their own lane. I keep telling everybody that. DJT has the big boys on it. We have Lynn Partners, one of their relationships offshore, hiding it. Who the hell knows from a cave? Who the hell knows where they're doing it from? But again, Lynn Partners, when they pick them up, their phone records, their wire transfers, Lynn Partners isn't doing this for free. And over the years, they've done a lot of deals. And like Savvy Management, the paper trail always shows where the money goes. All right, they're not doing this for free. They're not setting up these notes so they can make $100,000. They're looking to steal millions, like the guy Hancock in Australia says. I'm up 220%. You know, up 220%. If they are playing with a lot of money, it's a lot of wood a year, right? 220%. Correct, William?
It is.
You know, think about that. Imagine this guy's got 100 million to work every day, right? He's making a lot of money a year. I don't know how much money he's putting up, but being up 220% and bragging about it, this guy's making a lot of money. You know, what? Go ahead.
I listened to a little bit of the congressional. I rang my bell early to go down there, but it doesn't look like it's all that interesting. And the part, I didn't know if it was open anyway. But anyway, listen to it. It's so boring, and it becomes arcane. But it's clear that they want to just talk and do next to nothing and bury any help towards us.
There's a lot of problems in this world, okay? But this can be fixed helping Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians.
The taxpayer, it could help the taxpayer.
Everybody. It helps everybody, everyone. But the criminals, the 500 of them here want to only protect them. Ken Griffin's got 45 billion. This guy's at the crap table rolling the dice on 45 billion. He's going to lose it all and go to jail, or he can just fake a heart attack and go on with his life. But he's standing here rolling the dice. He should be taken out and tossed out of a helicopter in the ocean.
Like
That's
that
what he said.
Brexy guy. That gold, that remember that one in Indonesia? They put him out of a helicopter.
They were doing that. That was out of Venezuela back in the days, William. I remember it was on 60 Minutes. They should take the guys up in a helicopter, put handcuffs on them, take them up over the ocean, and just toss them out.
Oh, what would your last minutes be like? Oh.
Look out below. That's it. Throw them out the window. Criminals, murderers. That's how you get rid of them. You don't put them in jail and have them watch TV and lift weights all day. Get out of here. Throw them out of a plane. Get rid of them. Just tell them to go for a helicopter ride and throw them all out. That's the way it should be done.
So just Mike, like Rodney Dangerfield says, while you're looking out for number one, make sure you don't step in number two. He said that Ham said William is number two. That wasn't very nice.
No, I mean, as far as smart brokers,
it rolls off me.
It's okay. You can be number one.
I'll tell you one thing. When you're talking about retail brokers, a friend of mine had on his Quotron, which was a trading screen, the sticker, and I used to laugh every time I saw it. It said, if you're looking for a tax loss, call a retail broker. And the person who said it was Mike Milken. Retail brokers aren't, they're not the top of the list in.
No, the retail brokers, I knew some smart ass.
No, they're smart ones, but on the information flow, I'm not trying to get into their intellect. The information flow, Ham on the trading desk was much closer to the truth than by the time it got to the retail. The only one further out was the retail client than the retail broker in terms of information flow, my opinion. I wasn't trying to criticize brains.
Not just saying, very smart guy, did his homework, did all his work and everything. And by the way, William, I was with the fastest of the fastest of the fastest. I was in the front line of the battlefield when it came to information. You had to pick and choose. And again, his finger motion was 300 for sales. Then it went to 600. Now there's 1,100 shares for sales. 42.43, down 4 cents. Someone just desperate to try to move it down. If you take it, they offer another 200 or 100. That's why I always say accumulation is the king. Accumulation is how you wipe these guys out, not spikes. Look at the video. They spiked it to 9 something. Today it was down. It went down to 823 today. Get the hell out of here.
Nvidia?
It had, I didn't see it, but I just hit today's range. It says 823. It's back up to 914. They dropped this thing almost $100.
Nvidia. I'm starting to talk like you. Nvidia. They're just popping that around for premiums, aren't they?
If that thing dropped 100 today, I'm not trading it, but
you would buy
it. Who would trade? That's not the stock market. That's a casino. That means the 900 puts went to almost $75, $80 today, probably more, 90 when the stock is dropping. And they went back, William, from $95, let's say that was the high, and now they're back to worthless because it's now 914. This type of volatility is not good for the marketplace. That is a casino. That's not a stock. That's a casino. Hedge funds are trying to drive revenue.
Yeah, at least you can win in a casino.
Not this one. You're talking about devastation. If you bought calls, you were wiped out. The stock got crushed. Imagine owning the 850 calls with the stock closing at 923. They're worth $80. They went from $80 to zero, back up to $80.
The calls I had when I went down to do that video down at the SEC months ago, I couldn't sell them. I didn't get out. I went to lunch. Couldn't sell them. They closed them 1 penny above the strike price, exercised them, and then sold me out Monday morning. And so it was a huge loss. It's all rigged against the retail the retail. You know, today when I was listening to the hearing, one of the answers by a professor or lawyer or someone that droned on and on and on, he said he was concerned that if they changed the rules, it would cause a backlog of lawsuits and overwhelm the legal system. I'm paraphrasing, the legal system and the SEC lawyers. I'm just like, so what? Overwhelm them. What the hell? Anyway, it's all rigged against us.
The video only went to 890. It opened up at 920. It went down to 890. So it had like a 30-point drop on the opening, and then slowly been grinding back up. That number was wrong. But
So
still 30 points. Still 30 points is nothing to, that'll get a few of us to faint. There's no question about that. But if you, in these equities, if you buy the dip, sell the rips, that's the only way you can play it. You know, and if you think it looks tight, then buy some cheap puts on the way and play it both ways. You're getting shots on it both ways all the time.
yeah. Actually, maybe buy both.
No, you got to buy it after.
The problem I have with it, Ham, and maybe you can give people advice, but I just feel like the premiums are so high. You know, they're almost priced to perfection.
Well, because no one wants to be on the wrong side of that trade. That's why.
Right.
The worst part about option trading is that you can buy an option, and let's say you buy the 850 puts, which are probably $10.
He's talking about NVIDIA. NVIDIA.
If you buy the $850 puts, they're probably $10. That means your break even's $840. It has to go below $840. The stock is $920. When it drops to $890 and you pay $10 and you bought them yesterday and today's a new day, the stock can drop and your options can go to 11, up $1 with the stock down 30 points, because they know they're going to turn it and go the other way. So they're selling those puts.
Right.
And they're holding down the premium. And you're scratching your head saying, wait, the stock is down $30. How could my options not be worth 17 to 20?
Because they're loading up.
They're going the other way.
Yeah.
They're doing that already. And that happened to me in Shopify. I think the stock was 300. I was told to buy puts. I did. The puts were like $13. I bought I'll just say, for example, I bought the 230 puts. The stock was 300. And I paid $13 for them. That means the stock had to go like below 200 for me to make money or break even. The stock dropped 60. My puts went from 13 to 16. That was it, with a 60-point drop. And I said, okay, I'll wait for one more day and see how it works. It stopped, turned, and went up 500 points. It never stopped. I got 1 minute to make a decision, and these guys knew, and that's why the puts never expanded in value. They knew it. And I lost all my money. I didn't even get a chance. That's how fast it happened. And I thought about selling them. I said, how come my puts didn't go up in value? I said, something's wrong. By the time I thought about it, my puts were now $10. I paid 13, and the stock was rallying already and never came back down. That's how dangerous. That's how dangerous it is. Yeah, wait, anything else?
This gentleman's asking, you wouldn't know, and I'll answer from what I read yesterday. GDC put out a shelf registration yesterday.
Yeah,
100 million.
I heard that's one of the keys for it to go.
I read, okay, I'll let Ham talk then. Go ahead and say what you heard.
That's one of the keys they said when that comes, is get ready to go.
Okay. I read it and I went through it here. I didn't see any specificity, and it said in it they have to file a further update, another prospectus, they said. So it wasn't clear, Dave. It was a little bit different than Finger, but maybe it's about the same. It could be about the same. It didn't say who the investment bank was that I remember. They had a name of somebody in there, but I didn't recognize it.
Okay, so Finger Motion with no trades is now 340 for 100 shares and 700 shares off of the 341. 700 shares is changing the market cap of a company. 700 shares. They're just trading. How does the stock go down with no selling? That's all you have to understand. It's just manipulation. And, you know, it's not like I'm sitting here preaching to tell you to go buy it. I'm just trying to show you how they can manipulate. Once it gets out of control and it's trading 10 million shares a day, I can't help you because I lose track of what the hell's going on. It's too much, too fast. But right now, this is fraud in slow motion. And that's all I can tell you. You can just watch it yourself. And you sit there, how do you know it? Just watch these. No one's selling this. If you got 700 shares to sell, you just sell the stupid thing and move along. You lose a penny. If you wanted to sell it, just sell it. You're going to keep moving it down from 45 to 44, 43, and not sell any. That's what they're doing. There's no trades. Just sell it. You want out, but that's not a seller. That's just a market maker trying to manipulate it. So you sell it. That's all they're trying to do. And they're not using big orders because they don't want to sell it. They want to just make believe they want you to sell it. Yesterday, I think GDC traded some volume. I wasn't sure. I didn't see it. I can't remember.
They must have a training class in Wall Street now, teaching them how to just take from retail, in and out, take from retail.
Nope, you're wrong. It's a club of thieves and scoundrels. It started with the Fierro brothers. The Fierro brothers had people that worked for them. They taught someone on their desk how they got the loophole of naked short selling. I work on the desk. I tell one of the Fierro brothers, hey, I'm going to quit. I got some money. I'm going to start up a new place. Now I start up and I hire 2 people. The 2 people I'm working with, which I trained, they watch me steal $50 million and says, hey, screw this. I got the relationship. I'll raise some money. And now they start doing it. So that's how it's gone. That's how it's.
And it multiplies, these fronts
Right.
multiply.
And
It's the same clients behind them.
You got it. It's the same thing. It's all the same people. And it's just friends of them. I told you a friend of mine was a naked short. He stole $400 million. He got caught by the SEC. He took whatever he had left and disappeared. I never seen him, heard from him again.
And you lent him money before he was broke. He didn't have
a good memory. He came back and gave it to me years later.
He came back and he had a business card like a lead brick. He dropped it on your desk.
I still have it. It was a metal business card. Every time he gave it out, to show you what a big shot he was, every time he gave you a business card, it cost him $10. The card was $10 to make. It was like a metal black American Express card. And you drop it and it made this big clanky sound. Until he got caught and, whatever, lost a lot of his money, probably had tremendous headaches. Some of his assets, I guess, were taken. And I never paid attention to it again. Never seen him again.
Can't buy friends like that.
I'm just saying that I didn't want to get in the middle of who you're doing it for. He goes, I wish you were a broker. I was buying put short. And I'm like, what? I couldn't. He goes, what do you do? I didn't want to tell him what I do because he had no idea. That was the opposite of him. Complete opposite.
It's incredible.
But that's Wall Street. Again, if I knew what stocks he was doing or who he worked for, I would tell everybody. The guy from Share and Tell.
He should tell. I agree with you that guy from Share and Tell, I guess he's assuaging his guilt by coming to the good side. Why doesn't he tell on people? Maybe he doesn't want to be found hanging from a doorknob.
So, William, the stock doesn't even trade, and now the stock is $338 bid for 4,400, and 100 shares offered at $340. So without trading, they're just moving it down pennies and pennies and pennies. That's all they're trying to do. I mean, and here it is, another little trade at 339. So everybody's willing to sell at lower prices, 100 shares, just keep trying to move it lower. No one does that. And there is no selling. Everyone's got to sit here on a phone with us and watch the manipulation. And I put it up on Twitter before, if anyone knows, the trading tiger, you better be here, you old fool. Get on here. I haven't heard from the guy in a few days, so I'm calling him out. That's all. I'm only busting his hump with him. You told me to be polite. I'm being polite.
You're free to.
I'm being polite. I'm scolding my friends, telling them to get on the call.
This is a free speech zone unless you're a basher. What's the news, or what's the update, or what's your thoughts on the CAT system and resetting the
It
failure
doesn't
to
make
deliver?
listen, if the SEC or that financial committee shoots it down, it's only going to make Devin Nunes and Trump more angry. It's a win-win. It doesn't make a difference what they do. Everybody here knows the system exposes the shorts. Everyone knows it. Correct? Everybody knows it. The cat's out of the bag on that one, right?
Yeah.
So where are they going to go? Oh, we're not going to pass it. We're going to protect these guys so they can keep stealing from you. Really?
Mhm.
You think that's going to work? And everyone's going to say, well, what do we do then? Well, that's the same thing they did when they wanted to approve grandfathering of naked short selling. We screamed, and it was reversed. So there's still positions in companies that were naked shorted from a long time ago. So Finger Motion went 339 bid waiting for 300 shares. Without a trade, it's gone. Someone canceled their 300 share bid. This is just market makers going back and forth, back and forth. And you notice that they didn't want it to go past 4, obviously at 473, which that number keeps going lower. I'm going to say 470 now after a week. Every day they just keep selling shares lower, brings down that average price on all those sales. It just keeps getting lower. DJT, we kept saying it's 54.50. Well, it's got to be 54.40 by now, going lower. And you can see how fast the stock turns. 1.5 million, it's sound asleep. It looks to me, if that committee approves the CAT system, we're all going to be out of these trades this afternoon. That's what's going to happen. That's what it looks like to me.
Do you think that could be today?
I don't know when they're going to do it. I don't know.
Wow. That's
The volume's dried up. Everyone's sitting here doing
That's a pretty dramatic prediction.
Yep, that's what I'm good at. I also predicted the Jets were going to win the Super Bowl against the Colts in '69. That was my last great prediction, William. I've been 0 for 600 between now and that one.
I predicted a Fred Lynn home run when he got up to bat, and he did it.
Wow.
In Boston, the Red Sox were down. I can't remember if it was a grand slam or not, but I predicted it.
Yes, the Yankees, I guess, right?
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. Long time ago. I actually had a girlfriend.
KYP says she's going to hook you up when this is all over. Don't worry about it.
Tell KYP that she has to come on live. Everyone wants to hear what her voice sounds like and what her thoughts are about Brooklyn. And she can tell us her strategy for beating you at pickleball. We should start an investment book. I mean, not an investment book.
Listen, Mark Bazile, the notorious Kramers were just sued by the SEC.
Right now? Let's look it up. Mark Bazile, that's great.
Securities Exchange Power Up Lending. Here it is.
I'm gonna, all right, Power Up Lending. I'll read it out. That's great. Mark Bazile, yay. 3 minutes ago, you're tuning in, Ham, Mark Bazile, and now myself. We're keeping you up to date. Power Up Lending Limited et al. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission litigation release number 25,995, May 7th, 2024, a day that will live in infamy. Securities and Exchange Commission versus Power Up Lending et al. Number 1.24-CV-03498, Southern District of New York, filed May 7th, 2024. SEC sues Kurt Kramer and 3 of his businesses for acting as an unregistered security dealer. The Securities and Exchange Commission finally gets around to answering many phone calls over the last 2 years from Ham and his crew. No, none of that's in there. The Securities and Exchange Commission announced today charges against Kurt Kramer of Jericho, New York, and his wholly owned businesses, Power Up Lending Limited, Geneva Roth Remark Holdings, Inc., and 1800 Diagonal Lending, formerly known as 6th Street Lending, LLC, for operating as unregistered securities dealers. How many think he's just going to get a slap on the wrist? The companies go to zero and nothing happens. Anyway, to continue, the SEC's complaint filed in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, alleges that since at least January 2018, this is when Hamster got all over him, through at least March 2023, Kramer and his companies engaged in the business of purchasing. That's when you lend money, you're actually purchasing the note from the company, purchasing convertible securities from penny stock issuers, converting those securities into common stock at a large discount from the prevailing market price, and quickly selling the newly issued shares into the market for a profit. What the SEC doesn't understand is Kramer's selling it all along beforehand, but anyway, it's same deal. The SEC's complaint alleges that the defendants purchased nearly, listen to this, 2,000 convertible securities. That's killing 2,000 companies or thereabouts. The defendants purchased nearly 2,000 convertible, securities from about 325 microcap stock issuers. 325 CEOs, investors, communities, tax entities destroyed, all for this arrogant flash boy. The SEC's complaint alleges the defendants purchased nearly 2,000 convertible securities from about 325 microcap stock issuers, converted the securities into more than 100 billion. Oh, that never happens. That never happens. Into 100 billion newly issued shares of common stock, rapidly sold the newly issued shares into the market, and generated millions of dollars in revenues and profits. Millions? I would guess a lot more than that. As alleged, Kramer and his companies were not registered as dealers with the SEC or associated with a registered broker-dealer, as their activities required them to do. The SEC complaint charges Kramer, Power Up, Geneva Roth, and 1800 Diagonal with violating the dealer registration provision of Section 15A1 of the Securities Act of 1934.
William, I just put up a picture 1 minute ago on Twitter. Everyone go look at it. GTII pictures of the pictures in front of the truck. Toxic lender, unregistered dealer, Kurt Kramer sued Kurt Kramer, GTI, SEC, stop the fraud. When do we get paid? Isn't that whistleblowing? Didn't we get paid?
That's whistleblowing.
Right? What else can you say? Now we just got to get a captain to the ship. We know there's 500 million shares short. There you go. So you got Alpine, the Kramer's busted, and we're bad guys. People who called us bad guys, what do you say now? What would you like us to do? What would you like us to do now? You want us to buy it in? It's our fault? We exposed the criminals. There you go. What else can I tell you?
The SEC seeks permanent injunction. They've done that before, and the Kramers just moved to a different state. Disgorgement of ill-gotten gains. The problem is they only narrowly focus on the convertible note. What the SEC fails to do anything about is selling hundreds of millions of shares before the note's issued, during the note, and after the issuance of the note by the Kramer clients, and then Kurt gets a kickback, all in my opinion. Civil penalties, a penny stock bar, and other equitable relief. It'll just be a wrist slap, and Kramer will go to contribute money to Children's Hospital.
This is going up the ladder. This is not going away.
So the investigation was conducted by Stephen LeBlanc. So remember that name.
Call him up.
Call him up. Supervised by Lisa Deitch and Stacy Bogart. Call them all up. The litigation will be led by Suzanne Romaha. Call her up. Daniel Lloyd, Stephen LeBlanc, and supervised by Christopher Brookman.
How many shares of stock did they sell?
Well, they didn't say. Oh, here's the complaint. Here's the complaint. From at least January 2018 through March 2023, defendant Kramer, a two-time recidivist violator of the federal securities laws. He's not going to be walking so proud now. His father, Leo's not going to be so proud. His mother's going to not wonder where he gets his money from. And his wholly owned businesses, Power Up, Geneva Roth, and 1800 Diagonal, acted as securities dealers, notwithstanding the fact that they were not registered as dealers. The entity, defendants, which are wholly funded, directed, controlled by Kramer, operated a simple business model. First, they purchased convertible notes and convertible preferred stock. They leave out that they were already selling the common directly from microcap issuers. Then they converted the convertible securities into billions of newly issued free trading shares of common stock at a steep, contractually guaranteed discount to the then current market prices. They held virtually none of the shares for appreciation. Instead, they quickly sold the shares, which had never before traded publicly, into the public markets almost immediately following conversion. I argue with that. I think they sold the stock before conversion, but anyway, they get it. It's better than defendants funded approximately 325 microcap issuers. That's Carlos Danger with a fat nose and the two Kramer brothers in that little boiler room pit hell of finance. 325 business models were all shit. Funded approximately 325 microcap issuers. And this is one group. Imagine what Philip Vallier's doing at Lynn Partners and Yorkville. I mean, it's incredible how Wall Street is allowed to do this. In nearly 2,000 convertible security transactions, converted those securities into more than, here's the number, 90 billion shares of newly issued common stock. 90 billion. Defendants quickly sold the shares. They obtained more than 75 million in profits from these transactions as of March 31, 2023. The overwhelming majority of their profits, at least 60 million, came from converting notes and preferred shares and selling the newly issued post-conversion shares into the public markets, not from cash payments of interest and dividends. I bet that number can be multiplied by 10 for their clients and themselves, kickbacks for shares they sold outside of this and have never been covered. They want to seller box companies. Look at HPIL, VNUE, DBMM, GTLL. Look at what they're doing with GTII. Specifically, and then everyone goes, oh, Ham's a pump and dumper. You know who's dumping? These are the dumpers.
Hey, don't throw me in that. You told me I was a hump and dump yesterday in a positive way. And
I don't even know what Richard's talking about. I can't imagine.
Well, I like Richard's description of what I am, not the other one.
Well, as long as
listen, everyone, you know what? We all did it. I can't guarantee your profits. We exposed the criminals. We exposed their prime broker. The SEC knows it. You got their number. Why? You see Alpine, they have a concentration short position. Richard, not legal advice. Get rid of the CEO of this company. We'll squeeze them to death.
Look at this.
There's more?
No, Ham, I'm skipping way down. Number 11, Kurt Kramer, age 50. So he's been doing this for 20 years, basically. So since he was 30, he's now 50. If in fact the SEC enforces this rather than just saying, hey, well, let's just do this for show, how's the rest of his life going to be? Would you trade the 20 years from 30 to 50 to have your last 40 years living hell in prison? Good luck, Kurt Kramer.
Kristen did a beautiful post. She's always so good at it. 100%. Oh my God, these guys, it's unbelievable. Well, listen.
Look at this. I told you this, guys. He held the Series 7. I didn't use those numbers, but he was a broker. He held the Series 7 and 63 license from 98 to 2002. I looked it up. He worked, to my memory, 4 different brokerage firms in that time. No, it says he worked for 7 registered broker dealers.
That's where he learned his craft.
And I love this. This is what, when I called in and when I've done videos and when I've written things and when I made Twitter posts, as I said, Kramer is a recidivist, violator of federal securities laws, having twice agreed on a no admit, no deny basis. I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, to settle SEC administrative actions, finding that he and entities he controlled engaged in the illegal sale of unregistered penny stocks. This guy, it's a sickness. He got out, they let him walk away for free, and he kept going. There's a sickness in that boy's head. 50 years. So he had 20 years, as Dudley Moore would say. So you had a relatively good 20 years. He'll be sitting in prison, 88 years old, down there in Louisiana where it's hot outside. And someone will say to him, he'll tell his story. Well, you had a relatively good 20 years.
Well, listen, everyone, I'm good. I'm going to go outside. I had to wash the siding on my house. It's dirty. I'm going to wash it. I've done my job. I'm complete. I can't say anything more. The CEO leaves GTII. We'll squeeze that stock to death. They deserve it. We'll figure it out. Call the SEC up. Tell them it's 500 million shares. You know the criminals. You know the criminal prime broker. Yeah, we're like, what's it, Columbo here. We figured out the whole thing, right? I told you it wasn't easy. It was easy, but the regulators finally stepped up. Maybe they saw the truck, finally caught these guys, and William did a great job. Everybody, Ace and everybody for hanging in there. I'm sorry I can't force the issue. Now we just need Richard, not legal advice, to figure out how to get rid of management.
Let's load up Richard, not legal advice. Call him, email him, send him documents, and none of us pay him.
Richard, let him do a video. I'm sure he will. We labeled the whole thing for you. And like I said, you know what? I needed this to get off my back. It's off my back. I was tired of getting nasty text messages.
This is amazing. I'm not going to read it while you're on the phone. It's 34 pages. It's amazing. It is bloody amazing.
Remember the guy went to the FBI? I told you a long time ago. He said that the FBI knew all about him in Long Island. They put his house in his father's name. I told you that a long time ago.
Yeah, you did.
I told you that these guys, they were moving stock around everywhere. If the SEC and DOJ just follow through Alpine, they'll be arresting hundreds of crooks. Everybody. The guy from Vertical Group, remember him? Hey, Dirty Mayo, I know you're on the call. Go to put up Fancy Pants up there again. The guy, that Fancy Pants, he was part of the crime family, the broker, VERT, for those who are new to the game. Back in the beginning, VERT had to sell 40 million shares. People said, you're crazy, you're nuts. I told you that's what they did. Anyway, listen, I'm happy for everybody. I know now we take it to the next level. All we need is management to die or get the hell out of here. Whatever. Some rich, put them in a nursing home. Get them out of here, and we can go to town. That's it. There's nothing else I can say. Now we just need Lynn Partners, that fat fuck. Maybe choke on a fucking ham sandwich, that fat bastard.
So Suzanne Romas' phone number is 202-551-4473, 202-551-4473. And Daniel T. Lloyd is 202-551-3781, 551-3781.
William, just everyone can read the complaint. It's at the bottom. The numbers are over there. All you have to do is read the complaint about GTII. You got the Kramers. You got Alpine. Okay. Where's the shares? Where's the fails to deliver? They're here somewhere.
And I got to say one thing about Reichman. He only did it once with these guys. This company, NutriCorp, sold him 6 different notes.
No, those companies deserved it. But anyway, listen, get rid of management. Richard, not legal advice. And we can all work together and make it happen. But again, I got us this far. That's all I can do on this subject. I can't do anything. And now we're just waiting on a finger motion, which has fundamentals. You know the shorts are here. You know these guys. And what else can you say? Oh, my God. There's a guy laying in, I'm watching a video on Twitter of a guy in a wheelchair that fixes, and people just walking right past the fucking guy. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I'm happy. I'm not happy anybody's losing money, but, that's just, what else can we say? It's right there.
We can say, do what did he do? What do?
And William, thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Ham.
Even go back in time, everyone. Maybe someone can ping Avid Trader to put up his early video of all the Kramer crimes. He did a beautiful one.
Yeah, he did a good job on that.
And maybe I can reach out, try to find him, and just get him to repost that. People, I don't know how long I'm doing this, but it's taken a long time, but everything we said is right on the nose. The only thing is that no one's buying into stock yet. Where are they hiding it? If this was an adult channel, I'd tell you where they're hiding it, but this is not an adult channel. Hey, people yell at me if I said those dirty words. But that's where I know they're hiding it. Anyway, everybody, I'm happy. I'm going to go do some work outside. It's beautiful outside. And now we just have to call up the SEC, everybody. Help yourself here. Richard, not legal advice. Come on, put a video together. Get down there tonight. And everyone, or Ace, everybody, let's get rid of management and put a company in here. There's about 10 of them. And William, I'm sure the Trento guys are going to be breaking down your door tonight.
I hope so.
They want to merge in. This guy wants, everybody wants in.
It's taken
especially now. You wanted proof. Everyone said, "Where's the proof?" You big mouth. They used to call me, you big mouth, shithead. The bashes. Hey, what did I tell you? Follow the paper. Follow the ticket sales. Goes to the money. There you go. There you go, everybody. Anyway, listen. I can't waste my time all day on this nonsense. Again, we got the proof. I'm happy for everybody. I have to sit here and watch these shitheads, these Lynn Partners. I should tell them they're next, these rat fucks. All right, what can I say, William? Go relax, everyone. Richard, Ace, hammer this fucking guy.
Elizabeth Holmes' prison sentence reduced. Crime pays in America.
How much was it reduced? She killed everybody.
She was brazen. The 40-year-old 16 August 2032 is when she's going to get out, reduced by 4 months, but she still gets out before she's old.
Hey, what did I tell everybody? It's bail before jail, so you better not fail. That's from The Odd Couple, I think. Well, listen, everyone, I can't waste any more time on that subject. It's all there. I can't do the buy-in. I can't force the issue. If the company did everything, anything, you're off to the races. Anything. Make bubble gum. Do anything. Make cornhole games. I don't know, the board with a hole. Do anything. Anything. Tell them they're going to make coffins for to bury themselves in it. I don't know. Start a funeral home. Anything. And that whole thing changes. Anyway, everyone, listen, next up is the CAT system, Devin Nunes and Donald Trump. And that's the next part of this fight. And Lynn Parn he's the next guy to go down. Anyway, I'm super excited, as you can hear. Whoop-de-doo. Now buy the stock back in. And I got to watch these scumbags manipulate finger motion now. All right. Listen, everyone, have a great day. And we're going to go wash my house. I'll speak to you later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. It's taken me so long. Now that I know, I believe all that I do or say is all I ever will be. Stormy Daniels says that she was directed to his hotel and went to the penthouse. He was wearing silk or satin pajamas that I immediately made fun of him for. And does Mr. Hefner know you stole his pajamas? That was the joke. I told him to go change and he obliged. Since it was still early, they decided to chat a while before getting dinner. And Trump grilled her about the adult industry. What about testing? Do you worry about STDs? He asked her whether she had been tested. Yes, of course, I volunteered it as well. He asked me, oh, well, have you ever had a bad test? I said, no, I can show you my entire record, Daniels recalled. She said there was also a very brief discussion of Melania, Trump's wife, where he said they slept in separate beds. That's the secret to happy marriage, isn't it? Daniels said she had to use the restroom at some point, as she had had several bottles of water. Trump had come into the bedroom area of the suite and was on the bed in his boxers and a t-shirt. At first, I was just startled, like a jump scare, Daniels said. I just thought, oh, my God, what did I misread to get here? You were talking about STDs and tests. The intention is pretty clear if someone stripped down to their underwear on the bed. She tried to make a joke and leave. Yeah, right. But he stood up between her and the door. At some point, did you wind up on the bed having sex with him? Susan Hoffinger asked. Yes. As Daniels took the stand, Trump leaned back in his chair with a passive demeanor on his face. Prosecutors allege that Trump, yeah, whatever. There's no more to it. That's not very salacious. Sounds like she agreed. What's the big problem? I don't know. The trucks were a success. Let me go back to this indictment. I won't read it all, but here's the relief requested. The SEC respectfully requests that this court issue a final judgment as to each defendant, finding, so number one, the violations. Find that each defendant violated the federal securities laws as alleged against them in this complaint. Two, permanent injunctions. We've seen this before, of course. Permanently restraining and enjoining each defendant and their members, managers, agents, servants, employees, attorneys, in fact, and all persons in active concert or participation, RICOLA, in active concert or participation with them who receive notice of the injunction by personal service or otherwise from acting as unregistered securities dealers or failing to be associated with a registered dealer in violation of Exchange Act 15A1 with respect to defendant Kramer. Let's look up this Exchange Act, Section 15A1 in our Federal Securities Laws book. 15A. All right, let's just say we're at 15C. 15A. Let's see what 15A says. Okay, here's 15A. 1. Oh, it's pretty big. All right, let's go to the top of it. OTC derivatives dealers. Wow, it's long. It's A1 goes on for several 2-column pages. So let's just not read that out loud. It's a lot of pages, so I won't bore you with that. Let's just get back to reading this. They enjoin him from controlling any person or entity which acts as an unregistered securities dealer. They should just bar him from the securities industry altogether. Permanently restraining, this is number 3, penny stock bar, permanently restraining and enjoining each defendant from participate in the offering of any penny stock, including by engaging in activities with a broker, dealer, or issuer for purposes of issuing, trading, or inducing or attempting to induce the purchase or sale of any penny stock pursuant to Exchange Act Section 21D6, 15 USC 78 UD6, for those that are looking. Number 4, civil penalties, ordering each defendant to pay appropriate civil penalties under Exchange Act Section 21D3, 15 USC 78 UD3. Disgorgement of ill-gotten gains, ordering each defendant to disgorge with prejudgment interest all ordering each defendant to disgorge with prejudgment interest all ill-gotten gains received directly or indirectly from the activity set forth in this complaint pursuant to a whole bunch of act numbers, and as to Kramer, ordering him to jointly and severally liable, ordering him jointly and severally liable with each entity defendant. 6, or cancellation and surrender, ordering defendants to surrender any conversion rights. They're not getting the whole picture. These notes are just escape valves. They're just release valves as the pressure builds up. The real selling goes on. The real selling goes on before, during, and after in volumes too big to ignore. That the note is just a fraction of what actually, but it's the start, I guess. Ordering defendants to surrender any conversion rights under any remaining unconverted convertible note stocks or other securities held by defendants, and surrender for cancellation any unsold shares of common stock obtained by defendants through the conversion of convertible note stocks or other securities. If you look at GTII, they started selling the stock before Reichman signed the note, as soon as he made the phone call. They sold it during the existence of the note. As soon as Reichman closed it, they continued to sell it. So to focus just on the tenancy, the duration of these notes is just focusing on, I would guess, as low as 5 or 10% of the violation. But it's, it is a start. You got to start somewhere. And then they ask for other relief, and they ask for a jury. That's good. Jury's good. Can't hide it from a jury. And Kurt Kramer, he the man. So, Kurt, how do you make your money? Oh, I steal it. Yeah, they just focus on the shares in these contracts. And my guess is the other stuff is hard to track down. It's all hidden. These notes, I'm telling you, the notes are just a way when the pressure builds up to have a little bit of release. But the clients of Kramer's, they're selling these companies down into oblivion. Look at DBMM. Look at Northwest Bio, 1 billion shares. Look at MULN, MMAT. They sell many, many multiples of what's in the notes. The notes are just in case the stock starts to get out of control. The prime broker has this way of throwing some water on the fire. But the punishing sales happen away from these notes. But I guess the SEC maybe is just going with what they can win here. I don't know. They name several stocks, but GTII is not one of them. PCTL. DRUS. BANT. God. Geneva Roth through Kramer executed approximately 450 security purchase agreements from January 1, 2018 through March 31, 2023, through which Geneva Roth provided microcap issuers with approximately 30 million in funding. This is what the SEC doesn't know. That 30 million comes from, and if I'm hurting their reputation, who could hurt it worse than they already have themselves? But the 30 million comes from the sale of non-existent stock. They just sell counterfeit shares into the market before the signing of these notes. And then each note has tranches. So before each tranche, they just sell non-existent shares, collect the money, and they give that money. They don't have $30 million. The $30 million comes from you and me. It comes from the securities systems demanding that we pay cash at settlement, and the brokerage firms give us Kurt Kramer's IOU. So they're going to trash me as they did all along. They're going to trash me as they did all along. And here's everything, not everything, but a lot of what I was saying and Ham was saying, the SEC is alleging. Who really stuck the knife in first? As of March 31, 2023, Geneva Roth had converted approximately 65% of such convertible securities, representing 20 million in unpaid principal, accrued interest, and penalties. Those amounts converted into approximately 20 billion unrestricted newly issued shares of issuer common stock. Do you remember Joe Biden, your president? I wrote the bill. 3 strikes, you're out. Hillary Clinton going on the campaign. These are not normal human beings. These are whatever she described. These are, wild men. I forget her exact words. You remember Joe Biden said he didn't want his kids going to school in jungles? Well, their crime bill, 3 strikes, you're out. 3 strikes, you're out. Let me just. These are white boys, Maxine Waters. These are white boys, Maxine. And you're protecting them? These are white boys. 20 billion unrestricted newly issued shares. What if a poor kid down on the street in DC got caught with 20 billion joints? If he got caught 3 separate times, 3 strikes, you're out. These white boys, Maxine, 20 billion shares in just one case. You don't do anything. You drone on and on and on, and you don't do anything. Maxine, these are white boys. You can go after them. You don't have to protect them. 450 in security purchase agreements as unregistered securities dealers, Maxine. Your constituencies in parts of where you don't live where you're from, those poor young men and women, 3 strikes, they're out. What's so special about Seth and Kurt Kramer? And when they do these things and their clients join in, they don't pay any taxes, Maxine. Why do you protect them? It's the patriarchy gone wild. They also issued SPAs for Star Alliance International Corp, STAO. And then Diagonal, which is here in Virginia. For Diagonal, they executed 410 SBAs. So Maxine, some poor boy shuffling to the street gets caught with a bag of something, gets thrown out, gets caught again, and then he's caught, I don't know. I'm not in the drug culture, what to call it, but he gets caught with a something. The third time he's out with your president who is so great with the races. But you protect the Kramers? Diagonal, 30 million in funding. It's not real money. It's fake money. They don't have that money. They're selling stock that doesn't exist. God. All right, I'm turning that page off. It makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. All right, let's look. GTII is running. GTII is running. How's DBMM doing? How's GTM doing? DDM doing? Sorry, Greg Kirchner. I stopped. I give up. It's just so frustrating. The laws are there. The laws are there. They don't follow them. And you know, it wouldn't have been hard to just monitor the Kramers who settled with the SEC twice before, according to this complaint. And it wouldn't be hard to monitor their contracts. If I were the SEC, if I were Congress, I would make it a crime for a CEO to sign a toxic convertible note and then put the CEOs in jail. Boom, it stopped right there. And you know what? The SEC is primed to go after CEOs more than they are primed to go after Wall Street, because they want a job at the Wall Street legal firms. They want a job at the Wall Street big pools of money. All right, so GTII is up 23%. It's at 18. It's at 1849. Wow, this was your little gift from God, wasn't it? This is the unexpected. This is that unexpected thing. All right, let's look at DBMM. DBMM is at 6. And Lion, I think you're right about the breakout. I don't remember the exact number, but I remember just under 6 or right at 6. Brother, you're going down. We've sat together. we've gotten to know each other. Brother, you're going down. Brother, you're going down. I can't find the clip, darn it.
7 years in Folsom. In the hole for 3. McNeil before that. McNeil was tough, as they say. You looking to become a penologist?
A penologist.
You looking to go back?
Battery 40%. Connected to Phil's iPhone.
But brother, you're going down. That's too long. Brother, you're going down.
Do what you do best. Trying to stop guys like me. So you never wanted a regular type life? The fuck is that? Barbecues and ball games? Yeah. This regular type life, that's your life? My life? No.
My life.
No, my life's a disaster zone. I got a stepdaughter so fucked up.
So that's the breakout, 0.0056.
I got a wife. We're passing each other on the downslope of a marriage, my third. Because I spend all my time chasing guys like you around the block. That's my life.
That's it.
Guy told me one
Super
time,
predators. That's it.
don't let yourself
Hey, it's
get attached to
Ace is the
anything
place.
You are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner. Now, if you're on me and you got to move when I move, how do you expect to keep a marriage? That's an interesting point. What are you, a monk? I have a woman. What do you tell?
A woman.
I tell her I'm a salesman. So then if you spot me coming around that corner, you're just gonna walk out on this woman? Not say goodbye? So then if you spot me coming around that corner, you're just gonna walk out on this woman? Not say goodbye? That's the discipline. That's pretty vacant. Yeah, it is what it is. That we both better go do something else, pal. I don't know how to do anything else. Neither do I. I don't much want to either. Neither do I.
Neither do I.
You know, I have this recurring dream. I'm sitting at this big banquet table, and all the victims of all the murders I ever worked are sitting at this table, and they're staring at me with these black eyeballs because they got 8-ball hemorrhages from the head wounds. And then they are, these big balloon people, because I found them 2 weeks after they've been under the bed. The neighbors reported the smell, and there they are, all of them just sitting there. What do they say? Nothing. No talk, none. Just, they don't have anything to say. We just look at each other. They look at me. And that's it. That's the dream.
I have one where I'm drowning. And I gotta wake myself up and start breathing while dying in my sleep.
You know what that's about?
Yeah, having enough time.
Enough time to do what you want to do.
That's right.
All right, we're getting close to the quote.
Not yet.
We're getting close.
You know, we're sitting here.
Here it is.
You and I are like a couple of regular fellas. You do what you do. I do what I gotta do. And now that we've been face to face, if I'm there and I gotta put you away,
Run.
I won't like it. But I'll tell you, if it's between you and some poor bastard whose wife you're gonna turn into a widow, brother, you are going down.
You are going down. The Kramers are going down. All right, let's see what are, because I was just talking to Ace. Today doesn't feel like a checkmate, but it does feel like they're in check. Mark, I think I think the SEC either doesn't understand the magnitude of what goes on, or they are just trying to win what they can, or they're trying to distract us that they've actually done something. But these filings against the Kramers, it's a pittance to how much was actually stolen. But I hope they go down. I hope they go down. I hope it ruins their lives, just like they've ruined people's lives for 20 years. Arrogant. My computer's overheating, so. Yeah, my computer's overheating, so I might not stay on very long. There's got to be a way to keep it from overheating. They say Ace is a dreamer, but he's not the only one. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're right. I can't think anybody that can take their place. GME is starting to go. Well, you know, Peter, it's so classic. And I said it as a disclaimer several times, but it's so classic when someone who's in a position finally gives up is when it turns. What'll be interesting, Peter, as it relates to GTII, you've got the Richard Hoffman said that the Alpine, I'm trying to remember, I think it's the 24th or the 26th, they're going to be expelled subject to a stay. So you've got Alpine possibly not, and their henchmen possibly not able to continue selling GTII. Do you think anyone associated with the Kramers are going to sell GTII now? I would argue the selling stops. I would argue. Ace is cap hopium. He says hope. Well, hope's better than dope. The heat is on the street. Pork loin already was on. And that diner scene in Heat was shot with body doubles. I didn't know that. They couldn't make Pacino and De Niro's schedule mesh. Is that really true? So it never really happened. I tell you, brother, you're going down. The problem now with movies is they all do it with green screens. They're all fake. Everything's changed. You tell the kids today that, they don't believe you. Okay, here's the one I was looking for. Arca's good. I really think Arca's good. He said it's going to go to 13. Then he said going to 18. Wow. Arca's good. And Dos Equis, that's what the whole debate on Wall Street is. If you're charting, you don't need to know the news. You don't need to know it. You just got to count it right. And if you're a fundamental person, they say, well, I don't follow the charts. The price will catch up with the fundamentals. And I try to listen to them both. See, that's brave. You picked it up when it's down. That's the thing. And Lyon's pointing out that DBMM is moving. I'm never speaking to you again. Just kidding, Greg. Just kidding. We're ripping. Anything that might seem like Stormy has information came from Michael Dean Cohen, who was intimate with Trump. Yeah, Cohen was having sex with Trump. With Stormy. I agree. I read that somewhere. Super predators. That's the word. Hey, Jennifer. Could we be in the same situation for years until this is settled? These SEC, when they do all this, I guarantee, okay, I can't guarantee, but I'll put 85% odds that the SEC attorneys are talking to Kramer's attorneys, and they'll sign something, and the Kramers will agree to disgorge the notes, disgorge some money. They'll walk around free. It'll say they'll never do it again. I might have it here. No, it's in the other room. I read them in videos. Avid did much better job with videos, but I did the same thing with those same cases, mostly before he did. But anyway, I don't have his skill at putting a video together and he did a really good job. But I really focused on the point that the Kramers signed and said they'd never do it again. I have them over there. I printed them out. You can look them up. It never stopped them. So that's where I'd be disappointed, John, is if they sign and they're not actually arrested. They've hidden their monies, and I'm sure they have kickbacks all over the place. I'd like the SEC to make Kurt and Seth Kramer broke, literally broke. They have to sit in a old motel room off the beach and wonder how they're going to get their next meal. How does it feel to be on your own? no direction home, like a rolling stone. That's how I feel about it. Hey, Julie, Kim. Which is it, Kim or Julie? How are you, Julie, Kim? Wow, good for you. I hope it works, Rudy. And you're kind in that I think there's times when I let everybody down, but I don't know. I'm just human. Thank you, Matt K. You're the best. Send him a suit, then he'll have a vest. There it is in Louisiana, Angola. Lock them up. I agree. So, what do the broker dealers and MMs do about the shares? Kramer is going down. If it's between you and the broker dealer, brother, you're going down. I don't have any rumors on MMTLP. I do continue to insist that each of us need to move our shares from MMTLP. And anyone watching here, I mean, it's your own decision, of course, and you're welcome to continue. But I think anyone watching should be talking about NBH, not MMTLP, because everyone here should have moved MMTLP to Nextbridge. But I do know there's still lawsuits going. There's a lot of forward efforts, but it's in the slow period. My opinion is, I can't prove it, but since Devin Nunes included the MMTLP letter with his first letter, my guess is if there's an open hearing, which Ham insists there's going to be a hearing soon from his information. I don't know if it's open or not. I think an open hearing is the only way you get a McCarthy-like tidbit that echoes down now through households and the YouTubes, and then it echoes down history. If you have a closed meeting, I guess the argument is they'd be more willing to make a deal because it's not on TV, and talk more freely. But I think you can have open hearings, and if something gets into an area they don't want to talk about, hey, we'll save that for chambers or whatever they call it. So if they have a hearing soon for DJT, I think MMTLP will be all over that. My understanding is Don Fizz was supposed to be in town. I don't think he's here. And I was going to go to the hearing today. I looked at it, it looks completely waste of time, but I set my alarm to go. But then when I woke up, I looked at it, I'm like, this isn't worth going to. But when the hearing comes, I'll get my carcass over there and try to have a front seat view and update you. Exactly, Tom. I couldn't agree with you more. I agree, although I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah, the permanent. But they've done that before. 2 years to take the Kramers down. I can't believe it either. 60 million of ungotten gain, ill-gotten gains. They'll still be in business tomorrow, sure, and they'll be just brazen as hell. They'll still be cold calling other companies. They look, guys, they're not the real issue is Goldman Sachs, Stevie Cohen, Ken Griffin, Leon Black, the rest of them. Can't think of all the names. These big pools of money pay the Kramers to do this. The Kramers are bounty hunters. That's all they are. They're bird dogs. They prey on small companies and everyone from Medina Friedman to Cromwell Cromstad the third to Cook to Goober Gary Gensler, go along with it because their futures are with. Oh yeah. That's right. If they fail the test. Let's hear this. Mark Bazile said MMTLP would be resolved by St. Paddy's Day. Well, that's what, 10 months away? 11 months away? It's a long time. I think we can resolve our own situation with MMTLP by moving to Nextbridge. This is big news. And you know what? I think Mark Bazile did a lot of work on this issue, unregistered securities dealers. Marlon, I've talked about my own views. I'll give you Ham's view, although I'm not speaking for him. But Ham thinks that if the hearings come, DJT goes, which he believes the hearings will cause, finger will squeeze. My own view is a little more. I have a two-track view. I think the stock's going up. I think it's going. You could have news next week that knocks your socks off and just blows this out of the water. Or it could take until October. But it's coming. And the stock is going higher. And so that track, I don't think you need to worry it to death every single day. It's great if you're adding to your position. But if you want to trade, I can see where it's you like the action. I'm not going to tell you how to do it right now because my computer's freezing and it would take too long. But one thing you can do is sell calls against your position if you need the trade and need to make money. But I would, if I were doing it, I've done it before, I would do the shortest in month as high as I can go to get 25 cents or 50 cents. But the problem is you might lose your stock. But that's a way to be making money and stay involved if you need to do something with it. That's one track, though. I think the stock is headed much, much higher. The second track is, for me, I think the way the squeeze, as you put it, comes is not from finger, some surprise coming out on finger. But it's possible. It is absolutely possible. What I think has to happen is instead of trading around $5 like electrons, it swings out and comes back, or in the solar system like an asteroid, it goes up, but it always comes back around $4 or $5. The whole solar system has to move up to maybe 15 or 20. And when it's stuck up there and it's still zinging volatilely around, it'll be around $15 or $20. I think the prime brokers then they're going to ask for more money. The LLCs are going to give up the ghost because they don't want to put more money at risk. And because that's the new level, that's when I think you can see a squeeze. I did not see that. The question is, did you see the latest 8K for CAUD? They lowered warrants from $5 to 0.185. Why would they do this? I'll give you a good interpretation first. The good interpretation is it allows, admittedly, it could be criminals, but it allows the company to raise money at 18 cents quickly, because I bet that's part of the deal. You exercise them. And money comes in without issuing more shares. So that's the good interpretation. The bad interpretation would be that this is bailing out the criminals, and it allows them to cover some of their sales for a massive profit. I'd have to read it and look at the stock action. I would caution a couple of things, on CAW, in case you missed it. I learned on Friday that they're doing some financing using at the market and at the market offering. I think it's an ongoing prospectus. So there's an incentive for the criminals to keep the pressure on the stock price so that when the company does something good, the company issues stock, which dilutes the benefit of anything good because they're ever increasing the denominator. I have to understand why this is happening. The $5 wasn't going to come. I think $5 is months away. I'm going to choose to see this. I really think that Peter Boards is trying to fight. He's a team builder. He's smart. He analyzes information, and he didn't create this morass. The liars did, and I'm talking about on the other side of the conference table. I don't know which ones they are, who it is exactly. I have my opinions, but I've never met any of these people. So anyway, I'll try to look into it. The other caution, which is people think that by striking this deal, they're getting a great deal. And this is bad news about it. Over the years and years of these things, some guy gets a deal raising money for a company. Your stock's trading at 70 cents. I want to do it at 20 cents. And then he walks away thinking, I did a great job. Problem is, unless that money's going to increase the metrics of the company, the price comes down to meet it. The whole thing comes down. But I'll say that in this situation, I think Peter Boards is trying to put more. He's not just looking at getting one company. He's bringing alliances and many brain trusts, companies, revenues, and they're going after what I recall is $1 trillion market. I don't know if he said that number, but they're going after the part of that market that doesn't serve the big boys and girls. And at some point, despite the fact that you're getting murdered on this deal, that deal, that deal, that deal, in terms of having to issue stock at low prices, at some point, that sheer volume of revenue, cash flow, and earnings, positive earnings, just lifts the whole rocket, the whole spaceship up off the ground, and you can go into the stars. So let me study that. I would say that the positive read is he might be in negotiation with whomever was the malefactor, and this is part of the deal to settle up. It also is a way of bringing in money. The stock's what, 40 cents, 50 cents. It's a way to bringing in money without issuing more shares. It's painful, but that's where we are. I mean, you got to deal with where we are. So I'll try to get more information. I'm going to take it as fighting back and trying to get out of the situation caused, in my opinion, either by the poor selection of capital by Aubrey Advisors, who was the sponsor, the complete ineptitude of Aubrey Advisors, or they just were so busy they dropped the ball. I don't know. They've done over 100 SPACs and de-SPACs, so there is a question in law who benefits. All right, I'm going to go to the bottom here. My computer's freezing, so I want to sign off before it just freezes on us. Is GTII a shell company? Yes, I would call it a shell company. I would call it a shell company. But do you know what a shell company is? It's the same as any other company. A shell company has a cap table. It has shareholders. It makes its filings. It has officers and directors as required by its bylaws. It has bylaws. What a shell company doesn't, and it trades, but what a shell company does not have is a business. These are attractive to companies who are private who want to go public when the IPO market is shite, which it has been. And it provides a method for companies to go public more quickly than the investment banking process. It allows people to avoid the charlatans like the Kramers, and it costs a lot less. It's much cheaper. So there's value to being a shell company. But yes, the GTII currently, I would describe as a shell company. They have a gold, you can go to their website, but they have a gold company out of Dubai. They have like a eyeglass company and a healthcare company. So they might argue they're not a shell company, but I'd say they are a shell company. Hey, Rita. Lovely reader, reader maid, where would I be without you? Oh, here, Elliott Wave. I like Elliott Wave. upside target of 2,000 with a certainty of 98.1%. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. 98% that it goes up 2,000. I don't know. That sounds like a high percentage. It's interesting though. The Kramers can't keep selling. So Kurt Kramer is enjoined not to keep selling stock. Now the point is his criminal clients will. I think this guy Leo is his father, I think. But there's 6 or 7 other moneyed clients that he's had for a long time. They're all in that same part of crushed clamshell, New York. And they all gather on the weekends and get absolution from the priest, or, forgiveness of their sins, I guess. But they do this. This is what they do. Well, I'm not sure they're going to be able. I don't think anyone's going to take their orders anymore. They're not going to be able to keep it down. DBMM group, whatever, DBMMMM. So your numbers could be true. Could have some oomph in them. Both are extremely volatile. There's 2 kinds of people in prison: those who make deals and those who dig. You dig. I think it's huge, Steve Petchke. I think the chances of the Kramers selling everybody out, including Carlos Danger, is very high. I bet they've never had a callus on their hand in their life. And if they did, it came from playing badminton too long. Yeah, they don't want to go. They don't want to go to prison. But I think their lawyers will also settle with the SEC. They'll sign anything. And they've already moved the money to their wives and offshore. They've had plenty of time to get ready for this. They're going to be epic. Well, DBMM, see, the question is, will the big pools of money continue to short? They probably will. What everybody misses, yes, it's the Kramers, but they're just a false fundraising front to big pools of money. No. Reacher. 175-pound St. Bernard living in motels. There's an aspect to that that sounds great. You have your dog, but I know it's not. I know it's not great. I'm in MMTLP, and boy, I could use that money, but I actually think that MMTLP, which I think you need to move it to Nextbridge, the comfort, I guess, is they can't short it down. They're trying like hell, all over Twitter, all over Congress, all over everywhere. They're trying to break us up. They're trying to get us to agree to absurd settlements that allow the criminals to walk free. But the good thing about Nextbridge, it's funded And Greg McCabe is doing things to raise money to meet the drilling commitments that NextBridge has. So the asset is growing. Oil has tripled. And if they're right about this being the largest onshore discovery of oil, and there's no way to know that yet for sure, but the indications apparently are very good. The oil's there. So whatever the shorts and the criminals do, Wall Street does, it's not going to matter if you're in NextBridge. And it's there. So while you're moving from motel to motel, call into your broker and move your shares of MMTLP to NextBridge at the transfer agent is my advice. In general, I can't give it to you specifically. Check with your own, with your own professionals. Oh, Mr. Harry, you're not going to like what I have to say. Yeah, exactly, Frank. One strike rule for financial. My broker is E.F. Slutton, and E.F. Slutton says they don't. I mean, I guess technically the jumbo share certificate, if they count your dividends alone, they have it, but they don't have enough dividend. They don't have a large enough certificate. Otherwise, they would have taken care of this. They don't. $80. I don't think it's right. It should be automatic, but there are FedEx fees involved, and commission is nearly free. So maybe that's the new business model. But back in my day, you wouldn't pay for that at all. It'd be all automatic. I haven't gotten my dividend yet. And they shouldn't still be restricted. Remember, Scott, go to the website for GTII, print out the letter that GTII gave to every broker dealer. The shares are no longer restricted for that reason, but also 12 months have gone by. 12 months have gone by. So the Rule 144 is no longer applicable. They shouldn't be restricted. They're just lying and stalling. And plus, whoever you're talking with probably doesn't know. Hey, Amby. Down goes Kramer. Down goes Kramer. Ace is the place for the helpful economics, man. Hope is a beautiful thing. And sometimes they're beautiful. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So disappointing. All right, let me go down to the bottom. I think I'm going to sign off because my computer is overheating. I'm a little bit tired too. I didn't really sleep because I thought I was getting up early. So I couldn't sleep. All right, here's Kimberly P. Schwab is only able to remove restrictions on GTI shares through sale, as that is what the transfer agent has indicated is available for restriction removal. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. That's a good idea, Ben. We should mail the charges, registered mail, to the Lynn Partners crew. I wish I knew. It sounds like it doesn't ring true to me. Look, what I don't understand, Kim, is why doesn't Wall Street just doesn't give you fake shares and whistle past the graveyard, because you're not going to know the difference. What it might be is that dividend, that warrant issued as a dividend, happened over a year ago. That's on the record now. So there's honest people in Wall Street. So compliance officers, lawyers at each of these firms now know what's happening. Last time, they could honestly go into a court if they were asked to and say, hey, Your Honor, I didn't know about it. This time they know. So maybe they just don't want to be complicit again. TD canceled my GTC. Wow. And our restricted stock team has reached out to Jeff English, president of Liberty Stock Transfer, directly to see what is available, as we have had many clients who were under the impression they would have restrictions removed completely. However, he has confirmed that attributable to GTII being a former shell company, they will only allow for restriction removal through sale. They're using a loophole. I'm not a lawyer. I'll have to look. I have to admit, I have to look up what that means, but it is true. I'll have Kimberly, I'll have to study that. My computer is freezing. I'll have to study that so I'm not just bullshitting, but I have heard this issue before. I think they're just making it up, stalling, but the name PS71, the names are in the complaint. And there are some others, but you're right. Maybe we could work on that. Oh, my computer is just freezing. Scott, Schwab just told me shares of GTII are still restricted. They don't have them. DTC is holding them. But no shares. That's because they don't have the shares. They don't have the shares. Now, Scott, I'd be tempted to say to them, all right, I'll sell them. What's the price? Take the $80 out of that. Make sure the money's in my account in one day, or make sure the money's in my account in one day, whatever the settlement is now. And then go to town, buy GTII back. You might, if GTI is up, you might lose a little bit in terms of shares. If it's down, you might gain some. But just get out of this morass. Just do something. Just act. But I bet if you asked them, they're going to say it's going to take a long time. They don't have your shares. They don't have my shares. Yeah. I think we should, but we don't, we have to get a class action going. Kimberly, you're the best. All right. I say good night. Thank you, Kimberly. It's 3 o'clock. I'm going to call it here because the computer is overheating. My head is pounding a bit. And this is a momentous day, a day which will go down in infamy. May 7th, 2024. And, couldn't happen to a better group of guys, the Kramers. And for those people out there that sang songs on Christmas Day making fun of me, the Kramers aren't going to be able to crime anymore. The Kramers aren't going to be Kramer crime clack click anymore. So, all right. Peace, love, and happiness to everybody. I haven't heard from Jenny L. Just pray for her and her strength. And we can also pray for Lou Bravo and his family. Pray for Rafa. The population was told to move to Rafa, and where they left was bombed and attacked and destroyed. And now they're being told to move out of Rafa. Now Rafa's going to be bombed and attacked. And apparently it's all over some vague failure to agree to some terms that the attackers won't say what they are out loud. So anyway, there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of children, people under 15 in a war zone in the Middle East who were starving and on the brink of famine. And the number of the dead, they haven't counted who's underneath the rubble and underneath the bombs and the buildings. It's estimated that it's well over 100,000. Half of those are children. So if we're praying, maybe we can pray for the children. I would also pray that saner minds persevere and World War III doesn't come, that we can have a resolution in the Ukraine, in the Middle East, and we can get back to living in a sane way. It's the United States who has to change. We're not the world's number one superpower. In fact, we're very close, if we're tested, to find out that we won World War II, and that's about it. So we've got to change we have to have a attitudinal adjustment. Let's pray for that. And anyway, I thank everybody for tuning in. This is a huge day. I think our prayers were answered. The SEC, I congratulate these young men and women who pursued the Kramers. It's awesome. So I'll sign off and say, see you later, alligator.